So when you're looking at the story in a Bible, it's twisted. It's a false narrative, but it still have what we call remnants of truth laced within the falsehood of the doctrine. We are what we call Adama, earthborn. That's an old Sumerian term that was rendered into Hebrew through Babylon, right? So if we are the earthborn, then who are we fighting with? Somebody that ain't from earth. They can't be from earth and be fallen angels. Where they fall from? They fall down the hill, off the side of a cliff, fall off a bridge. Where they fall from?
But Rod, how are we earthborn if the Dogon said we come from Sirius? How are we earthborn?
The earthborn is those souls. First of all, everybody not related to the Dogon. That's the first thing you got to understand. The next thing you have to understand is that the tribes of the earthborn are entirely different than any of the other tribes that came here. The Zulu are not from the earthborn, but they one of the oldest guardian tribes because they was put here to protect the earthborn, called the Twa.
The Twa is the earthborn.
The Twa is earthborn.
Okay.
The Pygmy, the Sign, most of the human population of the earth looked at like the Sign all the way up until they started these breeding programs to alter the genetics of man.
So they weren't dark skinned? They looked like the sun, you saying?
They looked like the Sign Bushman or the Pygmy or the Twa.
Okay.
When you read Ivan Van Sertima's African Presence in Early America, he talked about how they used to live in these tunnels around Iceland and Greenland. We never knew we lived up in them cold climates, but we did. And the same people that was on Ireland, when they murdered them, they said that they sent St. Patrick, who wasn't known as St. Patrick, because he was General Patrick, who went in as on a war mission to eradicate the priests of Ireland and Scotland. That was the Orisha, that became known as the Irish. Irish mean Orisha, same word.
Shit. Woo-hoo-hoo. Irish mean Orisha. I know.
Yeah. The snakes they was killing off, the sisters were oracles. They had armbands on that was made out of the cobra. The cobra was revered for wisdom in Egypt. The priests that were the men had a headband with the cobra on it, but they didn't have full what we call pharaonic representation of the Uraeus and Caduceus, right? So they just wore the cobra, which is the symbol for wisdom, around their head, and these are the snakes that St. Patrick eradicated from Ireland, which was the priest that was teaching the children of Scotland and Scotia. Who did Ireland, Scotland is named after Scotta, and Ireland is called Orisha land. But we don't know this because we don't really study history to that degree. They were the Orisha priests. Wow. They averaged between 5 feet and 5'6" in height, and they were very wise people. And them was the ones who Ireland was originally settled before they took in the children. If you go back and research the dynasties of Egypt, you'll see that Helen, who settled Greece, was the daughter of a pharaoh. And they made a Greek pantheon. And then when the Romans came along, they changed Helen into a man in Rome, right? That's how Anunnaki, what they call defacing the god. That's why they said that they took Medusa's head. Medusa is a title. It's the highest rank of the Sa priestesses. The Medu is 10 in Kemet. Sa is the doula priest, or the birthing priestesses of Egypt. So Helen settled Greece, and later on, the Romans come and they usurp Greece with Alexander, Zeus's son, who is Enlil in Babylon, in Sumer. And his son is the one who captured the scrolls of government that allowed them to hold on to government this long until somebody with the blood and the right call is right.
This is Alexander you talking about, Alexander the Great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you saying Alexander the Great is Enlil? That's what you saying?
That's Enlil's son.
That's Enlil's son.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you see, watch his exploits. Where did he go to when he said he conquered the world? He only went to India.
Didn't he go to Kemet, Alexander the Great?
No.
He
stopped in Kemet, but when they ran into those Sudanese Candace queens, they decided to change their direction, but they was looking for something.
So where's the Library of Alexander?
That's in Egypt. But all of those books, when they say that Alexandria burned down, first of all, that name is actually a title, mean guardian of men.
Uh-huh.
And it was ascribed at one time to those sisters who looked after men, were called Alexandria. And Alexander was the replacement of the matriarch.
Okay, Alexander was the replacement of the matriarch.
Yeah, that's how it went from Alexandria, because Egypt is called Alexandria. That's the feminine form. And Alexander is supposed to be the conqueror, right? That's the masculine. So they was telling you all the time, all these is just coded pieces of information that was left throughout history to close the age correctly now. That's all it is. We just have to look back over history and see because you can't read that shit like it's real in this time. You have to read it as an energy signature. And that's how you get to see through all of their shenanigans.